Good morning, Sky Blue Fishing. We're out here at the lake. Sun's about to come up. Doing a different style fishing today, y'all. Today I'm fishing the back inlet of the lake where the Sacramento River comes in. Bobber fishing this whole time. No bottom fishing here. The bottom is just full of big rocks, little rocks everywhere. Challenging place to fish on the bottom, so I'm throwing a float out. Yo, good morning, Justin. How are you, brother? You've been killing it, man. It's fun watching you lives. Out here early morning, sunrise in, bro, Northern California. Sweet. Appreciate you, Justin. Have a good day at work, man. I will catch you on the river when I see you. Appreciate you, Justin. Come on, big fishes. Big fishes. Yeah, man. Out here trying to slam these big trouts. Out here in Bigfoot country. Right behind me is this untapped wilderness. It just goes on and on and on. Yeah, man, that's what I'm hoping for. One of these like 10, 12 pound trout. That's what I'd love to catch today, bro. Well, the monster 36, 40-inch German browns that are here. I'm out here where the Sacramento River enters this lake. It's pretty shallow, 4 to 7 feet, probably maximum. 3 on average, maybe. But there's some big fish that roll throughout here. But I'm using a float, so tossing those out. The bottom is really rocky. It's just in bad news, man. It doesn't matter what I do. Whatever I throw out there on the bottom, I always lose it. I lose my spinners. I lose anything I throw out there. It's crazy, man. Sweet, Justin. Yeah, this is a back part of the lake, and so I give everybody like a sunrise view, but we got a pretty intense storm rolling through. We're here in the mountains of Northern California, about an hour from the Oregon border, town of Mount Shasta. So it's a mountain town. I live at the base of an active volcano, and it's like mountain town living. We get snow in June, so you just never know. Yeah, it's just snowing on me 10 minutes ago as I was walking out here. I was like, uh-oh, could be one of those mornings. But that's what makes it. so amazing. I mean, the water we have is just, glacier water, spring water everywhere. It is cold to swim in, but it's great to drink, great to fish in. Oh yeah, Santa Rosa was nice. I had family, in-laws that lived there. That was beautiful. I enjoyed it there. Petaluma was great. It's nice out there. I've never fished anywhere near there. Imagine it'd be pretty good. Yeah. That area is nice. It's kind of a perfect environment, in my opinion. The Bay Area gets a little bit, you got the cold summers and it gets overcast a lot. And you get up right there to Santa Rosa and Petaluma, and it's just so amazing, man. Yo, all right, Justin, man. Good luck, brother. Oh, that'd be great, man. I appreciate you. Enjoy work. Don't work too hard. Do your best, though. Put pride in everything you do. Yeah. That's like, well, I'm here in Mount Shasta, and it's a tourist town, and so we live for the summers here. We have all these, little music in the park things, and we have car shows, and we have these Grinduro, which is a mountain bike kind of a weekend race thing that they set up everywhere, and that's tons of fun. Tons of fun. Come on, big fishies. I got to throw my bobber, my float out into this current, and then I let it drag it out to the point I want to stop it, and then I let it sit and kind of dance around that particular area for about 5 minutes. The fish come in here to feed in this creek. This is where the Sacramento River enters. This little this Lake Siskiyou. It's kind of dammed up, so it's a teeny little lake. Goes for about a mile in length, and then at the other side of the dam, it's not a power dam. It's just to create a reservoir, and then the Sacramento River continues there. So to the left of the screen is the mountains where the Sacramento River starts. Trout right now. Trout. I tested it out last night and caught a real nice, beautiful, probably a 16-inch trout. Rainbow trout. We got rainbow trout, German brown trout in this lake. Matthew, hey. Yeah, we have about 3 different type of rainbow trout in here. We have one called the McLeod Red Band, which is a really amazing genetic strain. Western Washington, like up north. I used to go to Long Beach a lot in that part of Western Washington, and we had a beach cabin out there at the end of Long Beach in a little town called Oysterville. You get into the Olympic forest up there, man. You get into that rainforest. Oh, that's crazy, man. That Olympic forest up there is pretty crazy, man. I'm from Portland originally, so I spent a lot of time going up to Washington and go to Tacoma. We'd go to Spokane, Bellevue, Bellingham, a bunch of good places. I'm a Pacific Northwest kind of guy. I'm down here just south of the Oregon border now, but I lived all over Oregon. We were raised in Portland. Lived in about 6 different places in Oregon and about 3 different ones in Washington. I miss the greenery. All the water makes all that, Oregon and Washington so lush. Yep. Yeah, that's nice. I would do a lot of just spending time. We have a few of rainforest kind of forest We got a place called Bagby Hot Springs by Detroit, Oregon, kind of. It's the closest city. And it's a weird rainforest. Oh, yep, nice. That's nice areas. I used to go to the Gifford Pinchot a lot over by Mount St. Helens. I was there in, I want to say second grade when Mount St. Helens blew. So, everyone in the class was like, oh, wow. We got to look out the window, watch this gigantic mushroom cloud forming. And then the next day, there was about almost half inch of ash on every single thing everywhere, every car, all over your backyard. It was a real interesting experience. And we were in Northeast Portland at that time. So that ash traveled pretty far. It was quite an experience. It's like those atomic bomb kind of things you say with a mushroom cloud, but was watching one in real life. Yeah. It was pretty interesting. That forest got pretty messed up. Got pyroclastic mud flow that just took out so many trees. Had a handful of people that refused to evacuate, just toughed it out. Didn't make it very long. Now I'm just across the border. This mountain town here, it's just amazing. This lake ebbs and flows because of the control, the outlet flow of the dam. They like to keep the river flowing at a particular place. We had a lot of droughts for the last 6 years in California, so they really opened up the dam and let the Sacramento River have as much water as it could. And so if right now this lake is real full, if it wasn't as full, I could walk out another 100 feet and it makes so much better fishing conditions. Drops off a lot, and that's where the big fish go. So I'm like just kind of out of range right now. And I was saying I got to use my float. Got a pink one on. You guys probably can't see it very well, but toss it out there in the current. I got a night crawler on. I let it float way out there. I hope some fish that's sitting there looking upstream, waiting for a bug to float by, comes and gets me. Oh, retirement coming soon. That is so cool. I got about 3 different jobs. I got a brick and mortar store here in the town I live in. I got a business partner I share it with, and we have like two side kind of companies. And I got a large like mini farm, and so I got a few acres that I have that I'm the sole farmer, gardener, whatever you want to call it. And so I grow a lot for a few different families and make a lot of plant starts to sell and other things like that. Yeah, so that's about it. Take care of yo, release. What's up, buddy? Just throwing out a night crawler here, Grease. Yeah, I worked in the medical field for a long time. Worked in the hospitals and pharmacy as a pharmacy technician. Kind of got tired of the working in hospital vibe though. Prefer to be my own boss. So ups and downs here. We have a tourist-based town, so we rely on the hot months of the year, and so you gotta discipline yourself. And 6 months of the year ends up making almost your whole year's worth of money. So all the store owners here have to really watch what they do. But it's that way in any kind of tourist town where they have their seasons, and no one shuts down. They just kind of go into dormancy. They reduce their hours. The coffee places and stuff like that will open from 7 to 2 or something like that, and then they're done. Yeah, I'm a musician as well, so I've done that for a long time, and I've done about four different kind of careers that I've shifted from. It's fun. After a decade or two, I find that the challenge of whatever I've immersed myself in kind of goes away, and then it's like doing a road exercise. It's just there. You're just doing it to do it, and then it loses a lot of its challenge, and it don't grow that well. So for me, after I feel like I've mastered something over a decade or so, I'll kind of reinvent myself, challenge myself to grow and expand. Because you get to that point where you can see your future coming because you've done a job so long, and you can kind of forecast what 6 months of doing it's going to look like. And I've always kind of wanted a change of pace to, you got to challenge yourself because you got to start over. And now I'm, kind of immersed in this YouTube thing as a hobby / not hobby. Hey, it's really nice to chat with you too, Clay. Sub up if you're not subbed up, buddy, and come back. I do lives usually 3 days a week, guaranteed. Sometimes pop in more. Always nice to chat with good folks like you, buddy. Come on, big fishes. Hoping one of these big trout are going to come. I was right at this spot about maybe like 4 years ago. Similar water conditions. It was a little bit higher water, so I was back probably another 40 feet. But it's like, no more than 3 to 5 feet deep everywhere around here, or just kind of floods. I had a bobber on this, just like that, the worm on there, and I got like 10-pound leaders on right now. I have maybe a 20-pound braid, but then a 10-pound leader of fluorocarbon on there. And I saw some boiling. Yo, saving grace. Fishing, trying to nail some of these giant trout. If we get lucky. And so I was sitting here fishing just like this, and all of a sudden I saw some boiling, some action going on, and I was like, what is that? That was a massive boil. This was a couple years ago. And it was the size of when I see salmon in the river. I mean, it was a massive boil. And I started seeing more, 3, 4, 5 of them, and it was some small pod of fish, some school. And when you'd see them boil and crest, you'd see their back, and it would be, about 10 inches across. So I was looking at 3 to 4 feet long fish, and it was like watching a watermelon slightly pop itself up out of the water, and I'd be like, "Wow!" And then my bobber was over here floating around, and my bobber just went down, boom, and I was like, "Uh-oh!" I went to set it. That fish just broke that little 10-pound line like it was nothing. Just gave one little pull, and snap, there it went. It's going good, Mom. Just threw out. 7, just threw out. Hoping to catch some of these giants. Just telling a story about the big monsters that I've seen here. It looks like we're getting into rainbow trout breeding time. So I caught a real nice male fish here yesterday. Super colored, beautiful. And he was getting ready to breed. So they'll come in. This is where this little river meets this lake, and so they'll come in to this little area right here and try to create a little area for the trout to lay their eggs. And then so those other predatory fish that like to feed on those eggs, they'll come in as well, which is nice. Land of Steel, yo! Try T-Rev, man. Heck yeah. Trying to slay some big trout, man. Trying to get the big trout. Sun's just about to come up. It's kind of overcast, so a lot of times, I'm here in Mount Shasta, and where you guys see the sun right now, it comes up right over the mountain. And usually from here, we can get a decent view of the mountain. But not today. I'm using a float and a night crawler. I mentioned it a few times, but this bottom is in bad shape. It's just nothing but river rock. And I haven't figured out anything I can do, man. Fishy! Yo, yo! What is up? What is up? Oh, that's so cool. That's good. You know somebody from here, land. It's a real neat place. It's a little. It's like a family town. Is the best way I would describe this town I live in. That's kind of what it's designed. We have two towns next to us, 6 miles each of them. That one's north and one's south. They both have like an identity. They have like a mill. They have a train yard, such and such, and so that they have like a lot of why people go there for certain commerce, and then people came up to this town to just raise their family. So it's white middle class families, that kind of vibe. Real safe. They don't put up with a whole bunch of riffraff here, but it's a fun, safe place to raise a family. Police are all good guys, but they don't put up with much. Yeah, I bet. Yeah. We got that. We got those storms. Well, we're getting them today from now until Tuesday at 5 p.m. where, the mountain is going to get another couple feet of snow. Just above me is going to get ugly. I'm in this 2-hour window, and then the rain's going to come back heavy. Last night was just ridiculous. So I'm trying my best with this here float, Fishy. Got a big old night crawler on. I'm in this area, like I keep saying, where the Sacramento River enters the lake right here. Oh, wow. I'm so glad. Sounds like you probably had a wonderful experience with them. And you're lucky, man. Arkansas is great. Justin from Thunderstruck, he fishes Arkansas all the time. If you haven't seen him, you got to check him out. You've been Thunderstruck is the name of his channel. He fishes Arkansas, White River, I think, and then the Buffalo River and a few other ones. And he's just amazing. He popped in this morning to say hi. Justin is great. Yeah. Oh, that's great. I've done. I'm in the stone and mineral business, so I have what people call like a metaphysical based brick and mortar store. But we make a lot of our own artwork and our own jewelry. We do lapidary work, and so I mine and collect and gather a lot of stones, and then we cut them and shape them and turn them into jewelry and you name it. 1,000 other things we make with stones. But I have gone to Arkansas a lot to dig. It's one of my favorite places. 2 or 3 pay dig places that I really love to frequent. Arkansas is a great place, man. Oh, nice, man. Yeah, salt of the earth there, bro. Justin and Julie are just amazing people. The fishing community, once you really get to know them, I mean, they're great, man. They are great. I was watching a gentleman named Pierre Coops. He was doing a live this morning from over in Holland, I think he's in. And he speaks Dutch half the time to his Dutch audience, and he'll speak a little English to us. And it was just so fun to watch because he's got a lot of English speaking subs, and so he'll talk to us for like that. But then when it's just all these Dutch people in there, I don't know, it's kind of interesting. Fishing's universal, so you don't have to speak the language, but you can speak fish on. Yeah, I'd really like to be able to cast out another. I mean, really, I saw a few big fish boiling. I got here and it was too dark for me to be able to see my bobber. And there were about 60 yards out. So I got, I think, a 2500 series on here. So I don't have a ton of length on this reel. And I was like, man, I need to get way out there though. Since trout have interesting breeding patterns where they like to come into these creeks, they like to create they like to find a little sandy rock bottom. Sweet. Yeah, turquoise is pretty easy to work with because it's pretty soft. Turquoise is pretty easy. Cabochon on them is pretty simple. It depends on the turquoise. Very few is natural. Almost all turquoise has been stabilized. They use something similar to like super glue, and because it's like a chalky substance, and so you basically make it a lot harder. So it's not like chalk, because when it's in that chalky substance, it just flakes apart. So the 1% of turquoise that is not stabilized is just insane, and it's real expensive, man. Like we got some of this stuff from Gobi, and we paid a pretty penny for that stuff. And anytime you find that just incredibly rich turquoise, but it's a softer mineral, so it's easier to work with. Softer ones, you got to be cautious because your machine will eat them up quick, but they're easier to work. Then you got to figure out what it takes to get that final polish on there. Each stone's uniquely different. We were working a gem bone. It's like a type of dinosaur bone, and it looks like an agate, but everything we would do to the agate at the end wasn't working, and it wasn't getting that beautiful luster. So we had to use this product called cerium oxide on leather, and then we have like this little leather wheel. And you put your cerium oxide on that, and that finally gave it. I got this old weird book which tells you what to use: canvas, leather, blah blah blah, and then what final product to get the polish out, because that's where you get into being this art form when it comes to tumbling or polishing and cabochoning stones. Like moldavite was one of the worst I ever worked with. It was easy and fun to shape and do it, but then no matter what you do, you couldn't get that glass finish to come out. Yeah, I thought about moving to Arkansas in about 2009. I used to go to this one mine. It was the Coleman's, and it was Jerry Coleman, not Ron Coleman's, and so it was called Miller Mountain. They had a lot of these golden healers there, and you could go pay your $20 to dig through tailings. But as you would drive up through this backwoods road, the neighboring property was for sale, and it was 11 acres, and they wanted $21,000 for it, and that was it. And so I was there for about a week camping and digging, and a local came in and was just chit chatting. He's like, "Oh yeah, I live over, blah blah blah." And he's like, as I asked him about that property for sale, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I walk that land with my dog all the time." I'm like, "You see crystals on the ground?" He's like, "Oh yeah, they're everywhere on the ground there. They're all over that place." And so I would have been able to buy it, but you can't get permits to do stuff. If you try to get a permit for a mine, it'd have been like good luck. They wouldn't let you do it. I was just going to dig a swimming pool. Oh, well, I didn't like that location. I'm going to put another swimming pool in. Oh, I'm going to put a septic tank in. And so I was just going to do one of those things. Not the Mona Lisa. That's cool. I know Sleeping Beauties, and I know a lot of these other ones. I mean, it's crazy. I have this, or I saw it at the gem show. It was a map of turquoise, and it showed you all the different mines in the different states. You know, and Arizona just goes crazy, but Nevada has a bunch. So you could figure out where this and that other one was. Yo, South Wisconsin. I forget where Mel's Hole is. Be honest with you. Turquoise gets crazy when you get stones that can get really expensive. Then the mining can get really protective. You get the Yosemite Sam kind of vibe. Someone's trying to steal your hole, claim jumping. And so I had a lot of Colorado friends who had real high dollar mines, and it was a gift and a curse, because then they were married to their claim. They couldn't go out to dinner. They couldn't do anything because they always felt like someone was going to claim jump them. This one guy, he was Joe Doris, and he got this amazing Amazonite claim and this topaz claim, and he got Walt Whitman's old claim. And he was doing shows with the Discovery Channel. And so he took his big heavy equipment and he opened up this massive pocket of blue topaz. And then he took the shovel of the excavator and just kind of blocked the hole. They had opened it up, so they were ready. They were ready to film in the morning. And so they took off, and this is outside of Denver and Lake George area. So they took off to go have dinner. They were only gone for like 3 hours, and they came back, and in that time someone had come and robbed the entire hole they opened up. Someone must have been sitting on the other hillside with binoculars watching them the whole time. And then as soon as they left, they like booked down there. Because, I mean, and they got away with like $500,000 worth of stuff, but it's just like that. So there will be blood. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Ooh, the Red Barrel, man. There's a couple places there that one of them has the topaz and a Red Barrel claim, and you can go there. And last time I was looking at it, it was $600, and they'll go there and dynamite a bunch of the pegmatite for you. And so they expose some insane. I watched the video of the guy who did it, and the amount of like topaz he got. But they also do it for the Red Barrel. And I watched, like, when the people just go to topaz areas and they just dig, the amount of Red Barrel you can get is like really minimal. But if you are willing to pay, you can come back with some 1/2-inch crystals. Fishy, you're funny, mate. That's what I thought. That Daniel Day-Lewis. Yep. A lot of that stuff is just real BS, like diamonds. There are so many diamonds out there. It's just ridiculous. They just lie. They just lie to the public and try and tell them. The same with gold. They try to say that there's a minuscule amount which drives the price up, and it's not true. There's an exorbitant amount of gold, and there's an exorbitant amount of diamonds out there. I mean, it's just outrageous how many diamonds there are. Yeah, I went to the Virgin Valley, and I'd been hearing about it for a long time. There's opal pay digs, and you could go to the Royal Peacock and pay like $300, and you could dig in this clay wall, and it's an impenetrable wall because it's solid clay. Your tools just kind of bounce off it. Exactly, I know what you mean there on the old gold. And so people had always been telling me about that, and they told me at the end of the road, past the Royal Peacock, was one called Rainbow Ridge. And you could go to that mine and you could pay about the same price, but they would take their heavy equipment and they would scoop up a cubic yard of the clay and drop it for you. And then you could go through that. And I did that once. Me and my daughter have the same birthday. We're both born on August 8th. And so one year I was just tired because I'm a single dad. And I was like, girl, can we just take this birthday off, do something different? I don't want to do the big birthday cake and the whole birthday party McGill. And she was in a great mood. She was like, sure. and a great spirited girl. And so I was like, why don't we go opal dig for our birthday? And we got blessed. I paid $600. Sweet, August 11th. So I paid $600 for this dig, and they brought in a cubic yard of stuff, and we had the day to go through it. And I found some just insane things. I'd say we probably got about $8,000 worth of opal. A couple of the big ones. He was like, oh, I could sell those wholesale for like $2,000. But there was another dude there. He paid $600, and he got skunked. He got nothing. So there's no rhyme or reason to that place, man. And I told my daughter, it's like, I'm never coming back. It's like going to Vegas once and you hit it big. Why ever go back? You can just retire a winner. And so that's kind of what I did. And I'm like, I'll never go back to that opal dig because I struck it big. Yeah, my daughter was like the best birthday present I ever had. We have same birthday, so it's like same. There were so many similarities. It was like, oh yeah, I understand you so well. It was the biggest investment of my time and of my life that I ever put into anything. Was trying to make sure I raise a beautiful human being. My daughter's 18 and like really well balanced. Yeah, that one at the end, that Rainbow Ridge one where you get the scoop. It like I said, it can just be a hit and miss, man. And there was like a kind of like a nice area where they had this big grate, and that's where they put the other guy. And they left us out in the baking sun, all like way out in nowhere. I had long hair. The guy just didn't like me. I could tell. And so, I was like, that's fine, buddy. You gave me the bad spot, but I ended up getting the juice. I was talking to another old guy who paid his $600, and he said he'd been coming there for like 30 years and he'd never struck it big yet. He said he brought his grandkids there once, and they dropped the scoop down, and then both of his grandkids ran and grabbed something. And they're like this, Grandpa. And they pulled up like a green root, an opalized root that was, 2 inches across, 8 inches long, just like massive root of pure opal. And Grandpa was like, but I still haven't found anything. He's like, my grandkids found the 2 opals that were in that whole pile. And so sometimes it can be like that. I'll hear the same stories with fishing. That'd be fun to see, man. That collab was great to watch. Great to watch you with Cindy, mate. Yeah, so I'm just letting this bobber float around. If I lock my line, I don't give it any more distance to go out there. It just dances back and forth like 20 or 30 feet to the left, 20 or 30 feet to the right. And then I'm hoping to see a takedown. Hard part is I can't see it sometimes. When the fish come in, they like to sit here and watch and wait for things to come floating down this inlet. Wow, that'd be really cool, man. Yeah, I used to dig this place called Hallelujah Junction, and it's by Reno. I mean, 25 years ago, it had a different flair to it. Now it's got a particular set of claim owners. I think it's probably still Jan and his cousin and his nephew. And then it used to be this guy named Foster, but these other people have the top. But man, I've gotten some Beck Mountain. I've gotten some scepters. I think I've gotten probably about 100 scepters over my time there. And I've gotten maybe 2, what are they called, dumbbell scepters, which have scepters on each end of a connecting rod. Not yet. No luck. No luck. I'm fishing in a real interesting area. The fish are either here or they're not. kind of like steelhead fishing. And so I caught one last night, so I knew one was around. I've been seeing them jump, but they like to fish just. Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, Arkansas is really weird. We have a couple claims, and you pay like $140 a year. Same with all my friends who have claims in Colorado. Not in Arkansas, because of all those giant deposits. They if you're somebody who has a claim that was there from 100 years ago or 80 years ago, you get these grandfathered in clauses. But any of these new people, what people explain to me is they'll set a certain price and then it doubles each year. So it'll start off and they'll want 10 grand and then it'll double 20, 40 next year, 80. And so I watch these new mines come up and they'll have this amazing Arkansas stuff and it'll only be there for 2 or 3 years. And so I kind of always wondered, it's like, why does the Avanti mine come up and why does this mine come up? And then they only last like 3 or 4 years. And so I started asking people about it. Some of the mine owners are like, oh yeah, they're like, the government here in Arkansas really does their business to, try to extort the mine people. And so it's a real different world there. It's a real different world. Like I said, when I was looking at maybe getting that a little 11-acre place, I knew there's no way they're going to let you open a mine up. They just won't give you permission. And then if they do, they're going to charge you so much, it's going to be ridiculous. But I just thought it'd be fun to get my own personal crystals right in my own yard. I'm in a weird, like, come on, fishes. Got a few ravens out hollering at me. I really love to fish off the bottom. I love doing my marshmallows and nightcrawler, but here it's just deadly, man. I've lost so many setups that I just refuse to do it. It's just nothing but, golf ball size up to beach ball size rocks stacked on top of each other here. Barely any sand. And so you just throw something out there that just drops down. Yeah, SW. I watched, Any Fins, man. And I was watching this guy season 1, episode 3 for a little while. And then I ended up finding Any Fins. And I just started hanging out, watching Bob. 'Cause I'm a family guy, and I love it when you watch family people fish. And Bob is just so generous and so nice. Watching him wrench everybody up, it just made you feel like we were all part of the group, I remember the first time I popped into Any Fins, and I commented, and I was like, wow. I was like, man, all he's got is subs in here. I was like, it's all he's got is like his friends watching. And then he explained it later, and I was like, okay, that's not what it is, but it was weird. I was like, man, there's more subs in here than normal people. And so I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. After a while, I was like, Bob really makes you feel at home, creates this environment. Justin and all those guys, they create the same thing. And then I was like, huh. Instead of just talking my talk, I was like, I like to show you guys my talk. Because I was like, I catch some big salmon, big steelhead, and big trout. Like everyone says, if there's no picture, did you really catch it? So that was half the motivation. I was like, all right. Then what I had to do is make sure I didn't take away my sanctuary. Because when life gets strange or just interesting in life, I come out here and just relax. Just be. It's hard not to find peace. Going live and just fishing for everybody, that's easy. Sitting on a computer trying to master editing and that kind of stuff isn't as fun. And I notice I just listen to a lot of people When I go to, I looked at people that got like massive subs, you know, people like Fish Tough, 150,000 subs. And then you look at their long form videos and their shorts, you know, their shorts got 300 views, long term videos, 500 views. The only thing that gets views is lives, you know, 30,000 views of their lives. I was listening to ATC talk about that yesterday. It's like, seems like the fishing community just really wants to watch you fish live. They don't want to watch long form videos. What are you doing to me? Got to keep adjusting the length and the distance of this bobber. Oh, that's so cool, SW. Yeah, I haven't watched it much. I just popped in, checked in, just, you know, I hear people talking about it. So I was like, oh, what's this Fish Tough? I'll have to go look at it. I'm not an ocean fisherman. So I was like, okay, this may not be my wheelhouse. But that's always amazing when you see that, you know. I want to say maybe Bill Owens or something like that. When I was in Any Fins a little while ago, and he's like, oh yeah, this guy Bill, he's one of us just great guys who made it big. And I went and checked him out, and same deal, he has like 150,000. But he seemed like super humble, just great guy. Come on, line. There it is. Trying to figure out how to get to where these fish are. Toss it in a little different spot. Any fins is any fins possible. Yeah. Absolute. He's the best, man. Caribbean girl. Hello. Hello. Caribbean girl has a wonderful, beautiful site, guys. She does a lot of amazing lives. If none of you guys are familiar with Caribbean girl, Tony, go say hi. Check out her site because she's wonderful, man. You're so welcome. Yeah, Bob over at Any Fins, man. Any Fins is possible. So I just say Any Fins. I'm sorry if I don't say it correct. The whole name of his site. But yeah, it was just an amazing inspiration. Just introduced me to the beauty of the YouTube fishing community. I think I was watching Walleye, old Mick Walleye. He was showing his gift, showing his koozie that Julie made and the jigs that he got from Justin. That was linked yesterday. That's so cool to see so many different people always talking and mentioning all the cool people. Yeah, Bob goes live like just like Monday through Friday every day, and then he was saying on a couple of his latest videos that trout season's starting soon, so that's going to be fun. I've been watching him ice fish and catfish, do cool things. There's so many choices out there. Eventually, I think y'all find something that fits right. You like their kind of personality, and you like what they have to say, the way they interact with you. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, man. I was gonna say if I predict anybody who's gonna become one of the next big famous guys who just pop out and get those 150,000, 200,000 subs, it'd be Justin at Thunderstruck. That'd be my guess. If I was a betting man, like you tried to bet on stock and you tried to buy in while their company's young, buy in on Thunderstruck because he's gonna be one of them fish tough guys that's got a couple 100,000 before you know it. Looks like it. That looks like his link to me. He's probably live right now. Good family man, and he creates a wonderful, wonderful atmosphere. You know, doesn't tolerate any BS. Nothing but positive there. Yeah, it looks like I don't want to hit that link and bump off the live. But I imagine if somebody else hit that link, it'd probably take you right over to Any Fins as possible. Any Fins possible. Yeah, exactly, mate. Darn right. Well, then you put in that hard work, man. That's what I believe. You know, you have to have the idea, the dream, and then you got to put in the hard work. I kind of believe there's like a 4 stages of dreaming to make something happen in your world. You come up with the idea or the dream. So you come up with the idea and the dream. That's easy. And you know, I see it all the time. People, I call it pipe dreaming. Someone comes up with this idea. It's wonderful, some new invention, but they can't figure out how to move their body in the direction to make that actually happen. If it's fishing, then you're like, okay, I want to create one of the best fishing channels out there. Then you go get your fishing gear and your cameras and tripods, and that's how you buy your fishing rods, and you haul your butt out there like you did the other night, Justin, and it was freezing, and you're like, I'm going to light a fire, guys, so I'm cold. You move your body in that direction, and that's what actually starts making the dream happen. That's stage 2, figuring out how to move your body in the direction to make the dream. Stage 3 is doing that, actually doing the physical part of making a dream happen. And then stage 4 is celebration because you've accomplished the dream. So first you come up with the idea and the dream. Then you got to correlate. How am I going to actually do this? How am I going to make this something that can come to realization? Then you do that. That's stage 3. You actually do that part. So that's what I see. And so where I see a lot of people break down is they come up with this idea that's going to change something for them, their life, their blah, blah, blah. And then they just sit around talking their talk and they don't get behind it. They don't walk the walk. But the ones who do that, then you notice it. I'm a sports player, and you know, to get better at sports, you had to practice. You had to put the time in doing it, not just say you want to get better. And there's a few people I watched. I'm like, man, they put the time in. Justin's number 1 at that. Release the grease, puts a lot of time in. You put a ton of time in, Fishy. Bob puts endless time in. Yeah, I get you. Appreciate you, Matthew. That's what I was doing a lot yesterday. I was in my shop working. I was listening to Grease, Fish yesterday, but I was unable to comment, so I was tending to people. Like they always say, when you're doing something you love, it's like you're not working a day in your life. That's what I try to do. I try to align myself with something that I really enjoy, and I put forth. And I'm kind of a perfectionist, so I want to put forth like a good product at whatever I do. It's like if you're going to do something, you got to put pride in it. You know, just because you're getting paid by somebody else to do a job doesn't mean you can't put a ton of pride and beauty into it. All right, fishies. I don't know how many fishes we got in this spot. That's the thing about like steelhead fishing is If the steelhead aren't running in that river, you're just wasting your time. You can throw out your rod all day long and won't bite, man. Sweet, happy belated birthday. I've never eaten snake, man. I would try it. I've never had an opportunity to, but I would try it. I've never eaten alligator nor snake. No frog legs either, but I would try them. I was watching these people that would do this mine tour over to Africa. They would go to Namibia, and the guide fly you in, and might have been Kenya or one of these big towns they'd fly you into, and he'd take you over, and you guys would get like a zebra steak. And he'd take you to these cool restaurants where you could eat zebra steaks. And it would be like an introduction to a whole different style of cuisine in Africa. I always got that when in Rome kind of thing. It's like, why not? I would try zebra steak. I've heard good stuff about alligator. That's why I was like, I would try me some alligator. I saw that fish jump. I'll switch up, get over where that fish is, maybe. Two-ish, is that central two-ish? That'd be like noonish my time. I'm gonna try over here, man. I'm seeing some fish just out of my range. I'd love to have my bottom gear because I can cast that way out. Sometimes I'm tempted to throw bottom gear out here because I know I could catch something, but I gotta always remind myself I've lost it every time. I've lost more gear here than anywhere else on this lake. But I'm sure as you all experience, you get tempted because you know it's going to work if you get your gear out there. That's what I noticed with bass, you know, like I made some bass for my daughter a couple years back, and I deep fat fried that puppy like I do some fried chicken. So I just battered that puppy up, and it was seasoned and battered. And first few bites, she was like, "Oh, it's just like fried chicken." And so I think if you cook them similar and you batter them up similar, you can make a few things taste very similar. What is this sitting out here? Somebody left it. Oh, yeah, exactly. I used to collect all kinds of stuff. And then I started being like, I don't want those old swivels. I don't want this. I don't want that. I keep nice spinners. I keep adequate hooks. But I started thinking about it. I was like, what if that thing fails on me? What if I get some best fish I ever caught, and then I got some ground score swivel on there that breaks? And I'm like, I'll just use my 10-cent swivel that I bought. Cool thing about this lake being the way it is, it rises and falls so much when it drops down like crazy. A bunch of us like lure hunters, we'll just go around and you can get 10, 20 big lures. Makes up for the 5 that I lost that year. Could you find 5? Yeah, I don't blame you. Back to Tennessee. Baby, won't you carry me back to Tennessee? Grateful Dead have a song called Tennessee Jed. I woke up feeling mean, so went down to play the slot machine. Wheels turned round, letters read. You better head back to Tennessee Jed. All right, I got 2 bobbers out now. See what we can do. See if we can get lucky. Yep, I feel you, mate. It's usually how it goes to start, and then you'll get in the flow of it, and then all the interactions you'll get from all the live people, you'll start getting that pump. It'll feed you, and then after the live will be over, you'll crash. You'll be like, "Wow, I'm tired now." All right, South. Take care. Yeah, this guy Season, I was watching for a while. He's like a little amateur boxer and stuff like that. Super, super healthy guy, and so he likes to do like an hour workout. He'll work on the punching bag and stuff like that before his live. So that's not quite me. It's not quite my flow, but I'm like, all right, I get it. He's like, oh yeah, because he has this very enthusiastic energy the whole time. He's very flamboyant in his lives, and he makes everyone feel super, super excited because he'll remember your name and stuff. And it takes a ton of energy for him to do that. And people ask him how he maintains it, and he's like, oh, I do this big workout before every live. I think each person finds their own little pre-prep, pre-live, just like a pro athlete would do. Get you a little pump going on. Oh, where's that other one? Where'd that go? Oh, there it is. Yep. Yeah, man. Hobo is gorgeous right now. The sun's coming out. Yeah, Justin, I gave up caffeine in like December because unfortunately I like if I have like coffees or teas, I drink a lot of like milk with it and a lot of sugar. I can't just drink that stuff without all that. And that was the part, man. I was looking at how much sugar I was consuming, how many things of milk and creamers and crap, soy milks, whatever I would use, I'd go through. And I was like, man, this is killing me, bro. It wasn't the coffee. It was all that garbage I had to do to drink it. So it took me a while to wean off that stuff. And it's kind of hard now. So I don't get nothing to give you that pop up. You just kind of got to do it the old school way. Try to eat some food and hope your body will pop up. Yeah. See, I have about I'm a little less than 50% Native American, and coffee black for the Native American blood type is really really amazing. Most Native Americans have a type A blood. It just kind of happens to be a thing that works out in type A blood, which is what I have. Does really well with just black coffee, mind you, but you put in those creamers and that sugar, and it's not. So the Native American style of doing it, coffee would be like a nighttime drink, and they'd all sit around a fire in the evening and share some coffee, but it'd be like the Turkish kind of coffee. You imagine just a real thick, strong black coffee. Yeah. Gummies, nothing wrong with a good gummy. Yeah, I was raised on soda, raised on the Mountain Dew. I really liked, RC Cola and Coke, that kind of stuff, Dr. Pepper. So that was my whole issue. Was just growing up and just all that high sugar. And so I'll turn around and I'll notice that I gained way too much weight. And I'm like, whoa. I look at my diet and it's like, yeah, too much sugary crap. That's probably been my biggest weakness is food. Yeah. Yeah, I done a lot of camping, a lot of hanging out in the woods with a lot of people. And it's like, nice thick coffee. I said I just gave it up in December, and so this was the first like winter. But usually when I'm out fishing these cold steelhead salmon runs where I'm just getting soaked, I'm getting rained on for 2 days in a row. That hot tea or coffee really made the experience livable. So I don't know what it's going to be like now. Man, I'm sure the heck get envious of Arkansas, man. That's Crystal Digger guy, man. You're talking like one of my favorite places. Colorado is one of my favorite places to dig, but it's hard digging, man. We got this, it's spread out over this massive area, and you got this Terrial granite, which is real hard to work. But the Arkansas stuff's fun, man. You got the clay. I miss digging in Arkansas. Every time I'd go there, I got to go to these mines that are way back in. So I'm driving by these water sources, these beautiful rivers and these lakes. And I just wish I had fishing stuff. Because, I have my digging stuff and all my like living in my vehicle for a month kind of crap. And there's no way I'm taking fishing gear. But man, I listen to those boats out there in Arkansas and I just hear them hooting and hollering in these rivers. I'm like, that looks like good fishing, man. You guys are lucky. You live, I'm lucky. Don't get me wrong. I like where I live, but Arkansas is cool. I checked out Eureka Springs for a while. I did a festival there in like 2009. I did this conscious, it was kind of like a psychedelic festival. Alex Gray was there and a whole bunch of these other like live painting, psychedelic people and stuff like that. It was a conscious festival in Eureka Springs in 2009. And that town was cool, man. I was like, Eureka Springs is pretty neat, man. I'd like it there. Yeah, man. That'd be fun, Justin. It'd be a blast, man. I'll have to go do a big digging trip, bring my fishing gear. I got a lot of these rock breaking tools, and so like when I bring all my heavy gear, I mean, there's like you get pretty much nothing you can't go through. Chainsaws will take care of any tree that's down. I got this hammer drill that'll just destroy any boulder made, man. We got some of these back mountain roads that'll get non-passable because like a 5 foot around boulder will drop. But that'd just take me about 3 hours to break that thing apart to where I can just, maybe even 2. Take me about an hour to break it into movable pieces, but then in a couple more hours to move all that off the road. But when I take all that gear with me, I got this Kawasaki Mule too. Little 3-seater bad boy. Here, take all that gear, man. It feels like there's nothing you can't do. Because you're like, all right, Mother Nature, what you got? I don't mind digging the old school way, but I tell you what, man, after you get used to using some power tools, not like excavators or stuff like that, but within reason power tools, man, you don't ever want to go back to just hard mining with hand tools. Yeah, exactly, man. That would be bad to the bone, bro. They made this tool, they still do. It's called the Darter Rock Splitter. Oh man, I wanted that thing forever, but it starts at like 18 grand and goes up to about 25 grand. And heck yeah. Do some serious video of some mining, man. That'd be a blast. This Darter Rock Splitter, man. You drill a hole in the boulder that you want. So you take a boulder the size of a large van, climb up on top of that thing. You drill a hole into it, like 8 inches deep, 2 or 3 inches around. Then you drop this wedge in there, and this Darter Rock Splitter has this 200,000 pound hydraulic force of this wedge, and it just slowly starts wedging this thing, and it'll crack it, and then bam. And so when you're doing serious mining, most people will drill like that, and then they put dynamite in there, and then that dynamite will blow the rock apart too. But the concussion tends to go into the pockets where the crystals are, and it fractures and breaks a lot of them. That Darter Rock Splitter, it just gently cracks that puppy open. Man, I've wanted one of those for a long time, man. I've watched a few of those in action before, like you've probably talked about, and man. Because when you got a big mine operation and they go to dynamite, like everybody has to leave, everyone has to stop working and get away from the blast site. And so then you got 10 other dudes that are doing nothing. But if you got 3 people operating Darter Rock Splitters, they can do as much as that dynamite did, and then all the other guys didn't have to actually stop their job. So I've seen an accident for big places like that at big quarries, and it makes more sense. But unless you're getting into stuff that you can mine hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of stuff, that's too expensive of a thing. My friends had bought excavators and all kinds of big tools. J-O! Hey. No bites yet, man. I'm over here, and this is just complete hit or miss, man. Hit or miss. You get lucky, it's like steelhead fishing. You'll spend some time, and then you'll get lucky. You may get a good fish, or you won't. There's nothing else you can do. I can't put on spinners. I can't change up my presentation. Sometimes I go scout. Like I came here last night because I just wanted to get away and just enjoy the sunset. I scouted it. I caught a fish. So then I'm like, okay, cool. Maybe I'll come back over here in the morning. Sometimes I wonder when I go to scout a place, do I catch the few fish that are there? I got about 5 locations here that I can fish around this lake. We can't fish these rivers and streams here until the end of April. I can fish the other part of the Sacramento River, but not the one behind me for the trout protection. The other part of the Sacramento River, I can fish it, but I can't retain any fish. And I got to use artificial lures and barbless hooks, lots of little rules. Ooh, wow, it's starting to look good. You guys are starting to see the clouds move in. They're coming in over here on the hillside. The camera doesn't pick it up too much, but that's an ominous looking cloud. Like it might bring us some rain. Sun's over there. Wow, that's a beautiful looking sun. This being a inlet, the water coming in is probably 8 degrees colder than the water in the lake. So in the summer, this becomes a pretty big hot spot. The fish, the trout, they come over here early morning and way late at night because it's like I said, it's all rock bottom. So for about 100 yards or more, it's nothing but small to large size rocks out here. So there's no plants growing, so there's no cover for any of the fish. And we got a lot of big bald eagles and osprey here. So I noticed that the fish split. They'll be here early morning if they're in, and they'll be here like, they need that cover. But if a day like today, we don't have full sun, so it's not so bad. But it's just crystal clear and beautiful water here. But I mean, it's about as cold as you can imagine. Comes up out of this river at just maybe 2 degrees above freezing. And even in the middle of summer, it is just like that. And it'll take your breath away. You go lay down in this. My daughter loves to swim in natural things, but all the rivers and streams around here they're glacier, high mountain streams. And if you've swam those, then you know what I'm talking about. But it'll be 100 degrees out, and you'll jump in that, and it'll just take the breath right out of you. Come on, big fishies. Chaos! Yo, chaos! Doing my best to slam something, man. Slammed a bass on accident the other week, about 6 days ago. So they're starting to wake up. I saw a couple dudes a couple years back came out here and fished at night for catfish. And I was like, really? And they were all excited about it. So they may have had good luck. So one of these days I might try that. Just for the fun of it. We got this channel cat out here, and man, it's one of the ugliest things I've ever seen in my life. He's a mean looking weird fish, this dark gray. Where you at, fishes? Man, I saw him about another 20 yards past where I could go. Oh, there was one way out there. He's way out there, though. Jig making looks fun, man. I have we use these type of jigs for steelhead and then coho salmon especially. The winter steelhead will bite them as well. We call them twitching jigs. They're usually a 1/2 ounce or a 3/4 ounce ball, so it's pretty big. And long fur, probably 2 inches, that kind of deal. So 25. And those get expensive, man. Those twitching jigs are like $5 to about $7 when we buy them. So I was like, man, I'd like to start making my own. But it's like I said, a ½ ounce to a 1 ounce jig head. And so then you got to paint the puppy and then dress it up, that kind of deal. The Nightmare jigs, the red and black, like the Joker one, the purple and black. They do so well, man. I was fishing for coho up on the Rogue River a couple years back. Got there early morning, man. It was like 5:30 when I'm out there throwing this twitching jig. Twitching jigs get tough, man. They get, you're throwing something around, it's 3/4 ounce the whole time. And so you got a fast moving river that's like, say, 10 feet deep, and you throw it out there, kind of like a spinner. You throw it up, and then you want to get it just before it hits the bottom. If you let twitching jigs hit the bottom too much, then that's it, man. Goodbye jig. So then, just about hits the bottom, then you twitch it up, and then it looks like a sculpin or some other kind of critter that just is not doing very well, and it's dying, it's falling back down, and it pops up like it's trying to take off. And so that ends up being the fishing method, and you end up using a rod that's about 7'6", that kind of deal. You want something that doesn't have a lot of weight, like those 11-foot and 10-foot rods we typically use for steelhead. They get laborious, and your arm is dying, man. And you sit there and do that in the river for 2-3 hours straight. Oh, I got a fish, guys. I finally got a fish. Finally got a fish. We got a fish. We got a fish, guys. All right, finally something wanted to come in. Sweet, let's see what we got. Who's here? Who come to play? Who come to play? Oh, that's a pretty fish. That's a pretty fish. Oh, that's a pretty fish. That's a pretty fish. That's a pretty fish. Holy beautiful fish. Let's take a look at you, buddy. All right, come on, let's get this hook out. Show the crew who you are. Oh, I'd keep you, keep your buddy. I'd keep your brother, but not you. Come on. Don't be hard on me. I call this being hard on me. You're messing with me. What are you doing, buddy? You wrapped me around my pliers. What'd you do? There we go. There we go. Come on now. Yeah, come on now. I want to show everybody how cool you are. I want to show everybody. Show everybody. Oh, you ain't got to freak out on me. You ain't got to freak out on me. Say, yo, guys, what's up? Hey, buddies. Hey, everybody. I'm a Northern California dude. Chilling here. I got a little spot on me where it looks like a bird might have got me. But I'm a pretty little boy trout. Look at my colors. Woo! Let's get back out. He gone. Woo! No skunk. That's how it's done. River style. Yeah, that's a pretty boy, huh? That's a pretty boy fish. Usually the males are all colored up like that. Girls tend to be a little bit more on the silvery side. That's a pretty boy. It's hard to tell because I got my bobber out there in this current, and it's just every 5 seconds the current just sucks it down under. And so then I wait and I watch it kind of pop back up, and I'm like, okay. Anytime you get used to heavy river current fishing, You're used to that because your bobber just bounces. Yeah, he looked like that. Yep, that's a pretty boy. That's a pretty boy, all right. I'm at the opposite end of the lake that is normally stocked. They rarely ever stock it over here. And so I'm also right here where the river is. River enters. I studied them and it said most trout live within like a half mile of a river. Like that they spend their whole life within a half mile section of a river. And so if they come out of that river into the lake here, well, then they're right here where I am. Let's go try and get his big brother. I want the next size up. Sweet chaos. Homestead, yo. All right. Oh, I got a good looking worm now, man. This worm's alive. See, I'm floating this kind of worm on a slip shot. Slip shots out there, and that's sitting about 5 feet below the float. So I'm kind of like just slip shot dragging a night crawler, and this bobber sitting up high. That's pretty much exactly how we fish for steelhead here, except we float salmon spawn, salmon eggs. We float beads. Yeah, what I've learned about trout is that when they're in the hatcheries, they're only feeding them the pellets and stuff like that, and so that their meat tends to be white, and they need to eat crustaceans. They need to eat crawdads. They need to eat mussels. They need to eat some kind of freshwater crustacean, and that's what gives them that. I think it's keratin or something. Same thing that turns a flamingo pink, because they eat the creatine and the little shrimps or something that they eat there. That's what makes them, instead of a crane, it's pretty much the same bird. One turns pink and one's not. And so it's the creatine, if I'm not mistaken. And so that's what I've noticed, is that the older fish that are what we call holdover trout that have been around for at least a year after they got dropped off from the hatchery, they start eating crawdads, they start eating all this little shellfish, and then that colors them up, and it changes the whole consistency of the meat. It has that amazing different oil. And so there was a guy I watched on another show years ago, and it's one of the few videos I kicked myself in the butt for not paying attention. But like, he showed when you catch a trout, how you can tell if it's white meat or if it's pink meat, why it's alive. Had something to do with like looking through the gills, through the side of it right there, and somehow you can see the flesh. And I just didn't quite have it down, but that's what I'd really like to understand. So then when I catch some of these trout, I can just tell, nah, you're going to be one of them weird ones. Then I'll just give it back. Come on. I got a little bird's nest I got on free. Come on, what happened? Come on. Sorry, chat. I'm trying to fix my line. If I don't say anything to me, I'm sorry. Got a weird bird's nest in my braid. Random bird's nest. And this isn't even a bait caster, man. This is my spinning reel. All right, that fixed it. Gotta love braided line. Strong. Doesn't flex, but boy, it'll bird's nest every so often. Okay, yo, I'm back. All right, Justin, bud, it's always amazing to have you around, man. You're an inspiration. Just let you know, I watch what you guys do, and I'm like, all right, that's the kind of guy I want to be like. Good job, mate. So you look through the gills where the throat meet the bottom gill. Okay. That's what I thought. That's what I'm talking about and doing. So you just kind of open the gill a little bit, that little side area. Kind of prop it open at best. Because that's what it looked like he was saying. He was in a lake and he was catching them. He's like, yeah, you can kind of look like that. And it looked like that's what he was doing, was he was looking through the side gill. And he kind of just popped it open and you can see back there. Yeah, man. You too, Justin. That's cool. I appreciate that as well, man. Because, like, I knew there's something I could do. Because I might have mentioned it. I'm not sure if you heard it before, man. But we have this interesting type. We have this trout here that was from a place called Eagle Lake. And so it's a very alkaline water. And so it was a very particular type of trout that developed, and they stock them in this lake here. The hatchery, I have a hatchery about a mile up the road, and so they stock this place a lot. It's an old hatchery from like 1883 too. But anyway, those Eagle Lake trout are big, massive dudes. You're talking like 26, 30-inch fish. They're just huge. They got the biggest red stripe you've ever seen go down the side of them. But every time I've eaten one, it's the grossest white meat you've ever tasted. Closest to the body. Okay. And so then I'll get that big bad boy Eagle Lake trout in here, and I'm like, oh man, I'm so excited. That's gonna be a couple meals, or that's gonna make a lot of like smoked trout. And then I get home, because I can never quite tell by the look. I'm like, oh, that could be one of them Eagle Lake trout. That red stripe, it looks like someone took a 1-inch thick red paint and just slapped it down the side. It's so big and red. Pierre, hey. Buddy, I was telling everyone about you earlier, Pierre. I was telling them about how you speak English and you speak Dutch. I assumed you were speaking Dutch. I was telling everybody how cool it was to just listen in, even though I don't speak Dutch, but it's like I speak fishing. And so you can watch all these cool channels where they're in different countries and you don't got to speak the language, but you speak fish on. Yeah, so that Eagle Lake trout is a fun one to catch, but it's one of the weirdest tasting fish. Something about how it developed, because it's learned to survive in a high alkaline lake. It changed the genetic structure of the meat. And so I've never once seen a pink one. Their meat's always white. And it just tastes bad. It just tastes bad. It's the only way to describe it. If you ate that as your first trout, you would probably be turned off. You'd be like, that's just disgusting. I think the tiger trout that's like the half is it like half rainbow, half brook, or something strange like that? Or it's like they They made like a donkey, so where it can't breed. They made a fish that's sterile, but it was a weird breed between two. Because we have the golden trout up here in California in the high Sierras, south of me, about 5 hours south of me. And you got to do a lot of hiking. There's no vehicle accessible places to get the golden trout. But that's a little guy, a little 10, 12 incher. But I thought the tiger trout has this amazing yellow golden patterns too. I saw they were stocking them in Utahs and some of these other cool places. Yeah. It looked interesting. It looked, I mean, the colors were vibrant, were really strong. We tend to have these weird subsets. Like I said, we got the Eagle Lake trout. Then you got the Lahontan cutthroat. That's over at Pyramid Lake, a few hours from me. I am in Mount Shasta, California. So I'm about an hour from the Oregon border in Northern California. It takes me about 3 hours to get to Reno. And so I got Pyramid Lake over there. I'm about 4 hours from the Bay Area. It takes me about 4 hours to get to the coast. Yeah, that's right. A brook and a brown. I didn't think it was rainbow. I thought Brook was involved. Little Brooke Shields. And you guys old enough to remember Brooke Shields, you might remember that pretty gal. We got this other weird one up in Washington. It's called Dolly Vartan, the Dolly Vartan trout. That's another like oddball. So we got like these weird isolated trouts. Oh, those are some big birds. What are those? That's the blue herons. That's the biggest birds we got around here, these blue herons. About 7 foot wingspan. There's 3 of them. Oh, yeah. I get to be I'm a bit of a lone wolf. I really enjoy my nature. Oh, that was a nice fish. Oh, sorry for the distraction, but that was a good looking fish jumping out there. I really enjoy my solitude. And so I'll come out to a place like this hour before anybody else would ever be out here, stake my territory. My dad, Southern California guy. And so if I ever went and tried to fish with him, it was always crowded. And I was just like, man, I got a lot of these river spots that, I'm the only dude there. And it's hard to get into them. And you're in bear country. So you're going through these little brambles and these briars, and you're seeing scat that was just laid that morning. So you're like, oh, the bears are right here with me. But then there'll be no other human. And I'll be as happy. Some dude will float down on a boat or something occasionally. But it'll just be me out there in that river all day. One time I was out there and I heard some serious rustling. And I had to crawl through this like 40-foot patch of real thick tree bushes till you get to the water. And I'm out there standing like 30 feet out in my waders in the water. And I'm hearing some massive trees and stuff breaking. And I'm like, oh man, it's going to be the bear. I'm expecting him to pop out right there, And I'm hearing some serious walking. And all of a sudden a group of like 4 deer popped out. I was relieved. I was like, oh, thank you. But I thought it was the big boy. I thought the bear was coming. Was mad at me or something like that. No, not that clever and like that. My dad, we'd go with people out to like Riverside Lake, I think it was, and a few of these big lakes. People would have boats and stuff like that. I think we tried Arrowhead and stuff like that. It's much different. My dad, raised me in Oregon and stuff like that. Then he moved down there. And so it wasn't anything like the salmon and steelhead fishing and the trout fishing on the big rivers that my dad raised me on. Southern California just had a different vibe. I never got out to the ocean stuff. That would have been fun. People have great success with halibut and just doing all that fun stuff. I watch people do the Santa Ana River Lakes. And that looks, I wouldn't complain. If I was living down there and that was some of the only things that I had to fish for, I would have a ton of gratitude. I'm blessed to have a lot of natural lakes. I'm blessed to be in a high mountain environment. A lot of solitude, but I can usually find a spot out here and just be by myself. I mean, like I've only caught the one fish this morning. I could have went to the other area where they stock it and probably caught 4 or 5 fish. But I also probably would have had 4 other dudes coming in. Come summer, it's bad. Always crowded, man. Wow. I haven't, my parents got into the tanks. My mom and stepdad had massive saltwater tanks, like 200-gallon tanks. I had like 3 of them. And it was a nightmare, like house sitting for them, all the chores. I mean, they had this big list of the different timings a day I had to feed those little brine shrimp that were in the freezer and all this weird stuff I had to go through. My dad had a big tank. And then I had this guy who was like a biker kind of the guy. We were growing up. He was a big, rough and tough dude. So he was moving once and he had to get rid of his fish tank stuff. So we bought his stuff. He had like a moray eel, he had a triggerfish, and he had a lionfish. Yeah, exactly, man. No, bro, we get I'm about 3 hours from Sacramento, and so the river that's like literally, and I'll show it to you guys in a few minutes. I put it on a short I did last night, but the river that's right behind me is the beginning of the Sacramento River. And so in about 3 hours from now, this river is massive. It's like, a quarter mile across and it's huge. And the Sacramento River goes right down to Sacramento and then goes to the ocean. And wow, yep. And so, man, I've watched so many of these videos of like these sturgeon poachers and stuff like that. And these, I wonder if people they're doing it for like a restaurant or something like that. But it'll be this group of people, and they'll harvest like 800 rock bass or something, and it's just like 500 beyond the limit. It's just like outrageous. And you're like, what could you do that? How could you process or eat or do something with that many? It's literally going to be like 2,000 fillets. And yeah, just ridiculous. And so, I mean, the sturgeon ones I've watched, sturgeon is a really unique fish, and so it can survive a long time out of the water. And so, like 3 hours later, they were able to take this giant, like 5-foot sturgeon and put it back in the water, and it survived. It took off. I was so impressed. I was so happy that they were able to release those sturgeons. Susie, hello. Yeah, when I lived in SoCal in the 80s with my dad, Huntington Pier was my favorite. We lived in Irvine. And so we'd go to Newport a lot. A lot of people like to go to, my dad liked Newport. A handful of my friends liked Newport. But this was like 85 to 87. Huntington Pier, man, that's where it was at. That's where all the good looking people were at. And that was the vibe, was Huntington, man. I learned to drive in Southern California when I was like 16, 15 actually. I just took my stepmom's car. I just would sneak it out at night. Yeah, Queen Mary, baby. And so I always felt confident because it's like, man, I learned how to drive in SoCal. I can drive anywhere, man. I've had partners, girlfriends that I've gone to SoCal with, and they're like, oh, I don't want to drive, because coming from Oregon or Washington, and it's scary and crazy. And I just switch right over automatically. I go to SoCal mode. I just change. Your driving patterns and everything changes. Up here, we're very polite drivers. We're pretty friendly with each other. Somebody's trying to get in or out of somewhere, usually you'll slow down or stop and let them merge out. No, not in SoCal, man. It's every man for himself. Merging within like 4 inches of your bumper. Girls will be like, oh my God, you're going to hit somebody. And I'm like, no, I know exactly how long my car is. Don't worry. Yeah. And I followed a lot of bands around, followed the Grateful Dead around and a bunch of other people. And so I traveled all through everywhere in the US. And the only place that I thought was uglier was Chicago. Chicago traffic is weird, and it's just packed in and it's tight. It's like for a small area, it's real bad. But LA is spread out over like 100 miles of real bad. But Chicago has just got this tight, really nasty traffic zone stuff. Wow, that would be a cool video, man. Yo, JR. Yeah, I was just talking about Santa Ana River Lakes, man. We got some SoCal talk going on, bro. You came in perfect timing, JR, SoCal, man. I was telling them how I learned to drive in SoCal, and that I can drive anywhere. You know, you have to, man. You have to switch it over. I have to switch because, like, I live up in a place where we're nice. If people smile at each other, and you go to leave the gas station, you go to leave somewhere, people will let you just go right on out. They'll wave at you and wave you in. You try that in SoCal, you'll be sitting there for a half hour, and you're still trying to get out of the parking lot. And you're like, no one's letting me out. Well, then you just cut them off, man. And they'll slam on their brakes because they don't want to hit you. Yeah, that's great, man. Sweet, JR. Yeah, I know Fishy's going to go live here soon. I know this guy, Stay Fishy, Redmond, Oregon, is Andrew. I thought he was talking about going live maybe at 9, but it was storm related, and he's just like 4 hours north of me, and it's rough. I have a small window, and the window's going to close here soon. All right, Orp, I'm gonna hook you up. Looks like just like you know everybody, and everybody knows you. I was giving a moment to make sure everyone's got a good attitude before I give you a mod if I don't know who he is right off the bat. I'm at the back of the lake this time, JR. The back side of the lake. So if you remember the lake, JR, there's a campground resort that people can stay at, and that's like the back side of the lake. I'm on that back side. The campground resort is just right over here across from me, and right to the left, well, on the right side of the camera, is the Sacramento River. Caught one so far. Pretty little boy. Say we're out here in the wild section of the trout and where they're breeding. That's cool. Yeah, small town's the way to be, in my opinion. This town here is like 3,000 people that we live in. Town north of us about 3,000. The town south of us 3,000. So within 12 miles between all three towns, if you're going north or south, is a populace of about 10,000 people. And it's interesting, to be honest with you. Well, there's a bunch of powers that be here, and they want the town that I live in to have a certain energy, and they want it to be kind of a predominantly white, middle class family town. And then the town south of us, they want to have the riffraff, more of the drug issues, and the cheaper housing can be there. And then the town north of us, they want the ethnicity. So it's really weird, man. You get in these small towns, they get run by older people that have been there forever, and they actually create the laws for your town. And heck yeah, Maine. Sweet. Yeah, so it's interesting. After a while, you get to know a place, and you get to know, like, okay, there's a bunch of family members. There's a town about 10 miles from me called McLeod, and it's the Hearst family is there. There's a big Hearst castle, and they got this really weird kind of areas that nobody can go to, nobody can have access to. Years ago, people told me, like, about eight really big, like, school buses, but they were all black, showed up there. Like, hundreds of people came out of the buses, go into the Hearst compound, and they were never seen leaving. And so something strange goes on at places like that. The county that I'm in is called Siskiyou County, and all of those Illuminati types in the world, they all happen to live in this county. They have big strongholds. So out of all the places that all those BlackRock and Illuminati and all those weird places could choose to live, they choose to do it in this county. So something about it, man. There's something about it. It's got the right environment that if you had to, you could really survive here. But I thought that was kind of interesting, because I've always paid attention to those conspiracy stories. And then when I was like, wow, I happen to live in a place where all those big organizations call home. Had a few big time conspiracy based guys, and they would just talk your ear off. After an hour or two of it, it's just overload. Like, all right, I heard a little too much. Yeah, Siskiyou is strange, man. It might be. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's a fun place, but I don't understand it. I live right on the I-5 corridor. So you got, like, Sacramento south of me, and then you got, going up to Oregon, to Portland, and all this stuff. So you got places south of us and places north of us where stuff is so much cheaper. Gasoline and things like that. Gasoline is $4.89 for the cheapest gas here. That's what we pay for the, and then it's 10, 20 cents more for the next one. And so $4.89. Yeah, there's a big I am group here. Absolutely. And so I it's like they just tax the heck out of us for whatever reason, just because they can. And it doesn't make sense, because if you're out in Iowa or something and you're middle of nowhere where there's no freeway around you for, like, say, 3 hours in each direction, then I could understand commerce. It's like, oh, they had to ship that. There was no reason for them to go there. But these trucks are on their way from Sacramento up to Portland. And so it's not like we're out of the way destination. We're literally right on the I-5. Monkey Man. Oh, I can see that storm coming. My window's closing down. Maybe in 10 more minutes, I'll shut this live off, y'all. I was really, Wairika has changed in good ways and bad ways. we have a lot of the drug issue up here, the meth related kind of drug issue, and fentanyl based now probably, but it seems like it's gotten bad in Wairika. That's what I hear a lot. Like the town of Weed is kind of a dead town. It's just the commerce kind of left, and the downtown strip stuff just died, and so it's just gone. Wairika is not like that. It's got a thriving commerce, but it also has a fair amount of crime that goes on there. Yep. Yeah, that Bulls fire just destroyed Weed in a lot of ways, man. The town of Mount Shasta is messed up because of the infrastructure. It can't expand anymore. The sewer system is taxed and the water is taxed. There's they didn't design it to be any bigger than it is now, and it just literally cannot hold anymore. So we got endless vacant lots, but you can't really build on them. You can build your apartment, you could build a house, but you cannot connect to sewer. You cannot connect to water. Yeah, Monkey Man, JR is great. JR is great, man. Yep, hobo. I get that, bro. Some people change, some people stay the same, man. I try to evolve. I've had my times where I wasn't a good person. I let my habits get the best of me. I tried to learn from that. Really wasn't the kind of person I wanted to be. And I've chosen to do that hard work to learn why I was numbing myself and avoiding just being present in life. I've come out to that space where I kind of like myself, and I like just being who I am. I sure the heck like fishing. $3, man. Heck yeah, bro. I'm excited, man. I am excited. Heck yeah, bro. I agree, man. I agree, hobo. It's taken me a little while, you know what I mean? I didn't like myself as an adolescent, and it took me a while to grow into my skin. Now that I'm in my early 50s, I enjoy who I am. People look, I got a fair amount of gray hair, so people look up to me as an elder in the community that I'm in. I kind of exist in a lot of nomadic people as well, because it's Mount Shasta. They'll come and just stay for 3-4 months. San Bernardino, the old San Bernardino. Yeah, it's interesting. I always looked up to the Asian culture. I idolized, Kwai Chang Kang, Grasshopper, and Kung Fu, the television show. I wanted to be I wanted to be young Grasshopper. I wanted to pass the challenges, to go lead a good life and just travel and set right wrongs and just be the little Yoda. Yeah, man. One of the things that I have learned in life is you cannot avoid it. Is you become the energy of those you surround yourself with. It's one part of the human condition. You literally become the energy. You match the energy of those you surround yourself with. So if you live in a place like SoCal, it's very hard to stay happy and centered and zenful all the time, because you got stressed out people. You're driving down the road with them. You can just feel it. They're right in your bumper like a son of a bitch. And it stresses you out and you feel it. And we've all known that when you've been in the great, best day of your life, and you come home and your partner's in a real bad mood. And you're just like, da, 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 you're singing, you're just so hyped. You want to share everything about your day, and you come home and they're just mean and nasty looking. And you try your best to stay happy, and it lasts like 10 minutes, and then you try your best, and then they're grumping and they're groaning and they're complaining. And then about a half hour later, you're not happy anymore. And you find yourself grumpy and you're complaining and you're just like them. Yeah, I get that, mate. You got to have your safety meetings all the time. You got to have your coping things. And that's the thing. I'm a very open person. I'm very like empathetic. I can feel other people's energies real strong. And so you have to try and create this like bubble to live in, to shield yourself and insulate yourself and keep your positive thoughts. But then you go to the grocery store and someone's just, they're exuding just nastiness. And like I said, you absorb it. And so the hustle's the hustle. We got to hustle no matter what. You got to struggle to find food or pay your bills, no matter where you are. So you might as well do it in a place that you like and surround yourself with good people. Yeah. They really are, man. They don't care for nobody. They don't. That's the thing is like my daughter, she'd been pretty much raised here in Mount Shasta, and we'd go down to visit my dad in Hesperia or Victorville where he'd live. And it would just be so hard for her. Because around here, we go to the grocery store and you smile at people and you wave and you're polite. You look up at people when you walk by on a sidewalk. You actually make eye contact. And she'd be like, no one makes eye contact, Dad. No one smiles. No one's nice anywhere. And I'm just like, yeah, girl, it's no one. They don't want to look at you in the eye. They're afraid that you're going to want something from them. Chaos, you're funny. My dad lived down there too. And my dad just passed away like 2 years ago. And about a decade ago, I almost lived and went, and spent the last bunch of years with him because I realized I'm going to live, 80 years or whatever in life. And I'm like, I'm only going to have these last few years to spend around my dad. And my daughter was in like second grade and I would check in with her. And, what do you think about moving down to Grandpa? Oh, no. How about next year, Dad? I just want one more year with my friends. And then next year, she'd be like, one more year, Dad, one more year. And then it just kept progressing. And then I started a company and I wrote it down. But I get it. A buddy of mine went and lived in Arizona to Phoenix, spent like the last 8 years with his mom. And we used to talk about that a lot. There's certain times you can never get back. And it's important. It's important to spend it with family. Heck yeah, man. I like learning about chickens, man. It's been great watching JR shorts and learning the different names and stuff like that. I saw that one short you did, and I couldn't even, I was like, what is this? What is this? Amy Sonari or something strange. I was looking at this word. I'm like, it's got to be a misprint. I'm like, what happened? And then I watched your thing, and you introduced that little baby chick. I was like, oh, no, it's the name of the chicken. But it was like a word I'd never seen before. A foreign language to me. Yeah, that guy's cool. The Amy Samani. He's really cool. That's a really cool looking dude, man. Yeah, I kind of believe that if you're lucky enough to be close with your birth family, then it's definitely important. My dad used to always be like, "Oh, family's family," and it's like, yeah, not always, man. I mean, just because you're born into a bloodline, my uncle was a bad dude, and we had to ostracize him because he'd steal you blind. Just because he was your blood didn't mean he would treat you right. So a lot of times you'll find like your spiritual family, and then you got your birth family. And I believe that if you're lucky enough in your birth family, you get along with and you like them as a human, then man, you should spend a lot of time with them. Speaking of time, guys, we're a little bit after the 2-hour mark, and I can see these clouds coming in. So I think I'm going to go wrap it up. I know Fishy just went live, so I'm going to go watch Fishy things. I'm going to talk to Fishy about redirect, man, because there's a cool feature where I can just hit this button, and I'll send you guys over to Fishy's. So like when I'm done talking to you, just stay on there. Then bam, next thing you know, I redirect you over to Fishy's live. All right, y'all. You guys have fun. I appreciate you. Chaos, JR, Orb. It has been great, man. Hobo, it's been great talking with you guys. You guys are really good people, and I appreciate you in this world. Do something good with your time today. Take care of each other and the people around you. Sky Blue Fishing out.